Okay, good, thank you. I'd like to welcome everyone tonight to the Township of Nipissing Council meeting, Tuesday, June 6th, 6:30 p.m. I'll ask if there is any disclosure of pecuniary interest. Seeing none, we'll go on to committee reports, and we'll start with Councillor Yale.
We had a museum board meeting, but it was private session. So
Okay.
that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. We'll go on to Councillor Foote.
Awesome. I have two. We had the MS advisory committee. Not a lot on it. We just talked a little bit about finances and financially it's strong for 2023. It looks like we will either possibly come out as a surplus. And they're saying a lot of it is due to sick time decrease. So they've really seen a lot of that in the way that's being managed. That was a good thing. The next meeting, we're working on the 2024 budget already. So we're going to start working on that. And we're going to start using 2022 numbers as the most accurate. Talked a little bit about targets and hitting targets and that kind of thing. It's going to take a little bit of time to get my head around all those numbers and what they mean, but they assured that we were on target and hitting numbers better than we forecasted before, so which was really good. So that was a big thing. It's a pretty short meeting. Awesome. The next one was we had rec committee last night. So rec committee was fun. Batbox and Super Mario Night. We talked a lot about that. So Batbox was a huge success. It was great. The kids had fun, and it was a great time. I went and we had some great times. Bottle drive. We picked up bottles this week from both landfills. This week was $745.40 collected from the two landfills. Now, one of them was 2 months worth because we only collected for 1 month. To date, we have $2,135.90 for this year to date. So that's really awesome. So we're looking at some possible uses for a little bit of that money. What we want to do is look at the Heritage Park sign and replace that. So get some numbers on that. And also want to look at putting some information boards up. It was a great idea brought forth by Kathy and getting some plexiglass and get them up there so we can put the posters up both at the beaches and at both landfills and again at the park. So I think the more information we can get out there, the better, and get them interested. There will be 2 garbage cans coming out of the bottle drive to put at Chapman's Landing at the stage of the game. So we'll keep a close eye on it and hopefully it doesn't get abused, but we'll keep a close eye and put them there anyway. Up next is the soccer party, July 6th, Canada Day, July 1st, followed by soccer party. And then we're working on teen dance on July 21st. We found a DJ for the teen dance. It's going to be some fun and get the kids interested with some, good music and some, the neon, I can't even think what they're called right now, but have some fun with that. Porta johns are in place at both at the beaches and at the park when they're there till September 1st at this point. And the only other really thing I think is Chapman's Landings, the small dock is being replaced in July. I don't think I missed anything, but it was great. Yeah, it's a great group and we're having fun. That's good.
Any questions?
We'd love help for July 1st. That'd be nice just to.
Everybody is of course invited. And we hope the fire ban is off. Otherwise it'll be a short evening. Don't have to wait for dusk. We'll just all say, go home, fire ban.
Oh, I think what I did miss was the movie. We've decided on a movie for movie night in the park. And as long as we can get it, that'll be Super Mario on August 19th. That'll be a lot of fun.
And any of these special nights could be if we're fire banned, could essentially be fireworks nights. But we won't know until July 1st. See what happens. And hope.
Yeah.
I thought we could just wet everything down, but that's not the point. Yeah, wrong. Thanks. So we'll move on to Councillor Kirk.
I have nothing this week.
Okay. Quiet week at the library. Councillor Butler.
Nothing this time.
Okay, and I have East Home, we don't have to say anything about the lake, it's going down centimeter to a centimeter and a half a day. It's funny, the barrels we had on the docks, the ones that didn't have tops, it was almost evaporated to the first ring.
Unbelievable.
So it's incredible how much water has come out of that lake, so shouldn't be an issue anymore. The other thing is East Home. We had a funding announcement. We received 56,200 for recruitment and training of students who will work in long-term care. The funding was down last year. We got 88,000, this year 56. But originally it was capped at 10, but other groups didn't take advantage of it. So we said, we'll take more. And they gave us more, but this year other people have figured it out. So we're still above the 10,000 in undistributed funds. Staffing, we've exceeded our hours of care target of 3 hours and 42 minutes per client. We've had 2 more temporary foreign workers arrive on May 10th, and hence a huge decrease in uncovered shifts, which we had to do with overtime and Plan B. Those are people that you just hire, and it's a company, a private company that just comes in and they supply people for shifts. We had to use them before. They were in the front of the nugget about how expensive they were. This time we didn't have any of them. And the other thing, they've hired a nurse practitioner because we have 2 doctors. They're only there 1 day a week, and that leaves some gaps between the doctors and the nurses and people that need care. So we've hired a nurse practitioner, totally funded by the government, and basically, hopefully help to better serve our clients. Community support service, and you'll notice in our correspondence, there's something about community support service in there tonight. We just received a clean audit for our community service, and it's a credit to Leslie and her staff. And for your information, Meals on Wheels is at its highest since 2016-17. They put out 12,126 meals. Transportation is still down a little from pre-COVID numbers, but we know it's coming back. Building maintenance for insurance purposes. New smoke detectors have been installed. Panels were thermographically scanned, and a new sprinkler system had to be installed because there's hot spots. And our grant money, the wiring continues. And as of a week ago Thursday, 3 more rooftop units were put in. And so there's a big crane there, and the residents are entertained watching that. And so because of that, progress draw was 71 came out, which was 865,000. That's we had to pay for those for the most recent air circulating units. Screening and attestations for all employees and boards. So we all had to be police screened, despite the fact that I may not have anything to do with anybody in the building. I still have to be screened because we're working with long-term care. They've been doing training drills, new WSIB excellence program to try to bring down the WSIB numbers because they're high. They did heat-related illness prevention. We had to come up with service animal regulations because lots of people have service animals, but they're not real service animals. So we had to look at that. And we're working on a physiotherapy contract. It's under review. And next East Home meeting is in 2 weeks, but we have a building meeting on Thursday. So, and again, it's so funny when they're putting up these, it's the air conditioning units and heat or air circulating units. The ministry's there while we're doing it, because if we exceed 24 degrees then we're fined $25,000 per day, you know? So luckily the weather's been, you know, half decent and they've been doing lots. So they, when it did get too hot, they had to go into cooling centers. So they had air conditioners put in for the cafeteria. Everybody goes there. So far, no fines because the chairperson is also named in the fine. And I want to avoid that. So otherwise, we meet again Thursday and no other committee reports. So we can move on to number 3, which is adopt the minutes of the meeting held May 16th. So I need to mover and the seconder, Councillor Yam and Councillor Foot. So it's number R 2023-133, moved by Councillor Yam, seconded by Councillor Foot, that the minutes of the council meeting held May 16th, 2023 be adopted as published. All in favor? Carried. And next, number 4, award to tender.
So there was a staff report with that one. It came in over budget.
Came in over budget and we put it out to 3 other.
We put it up publicly and we also sent it to 3 companies. One came back and said they were too busy to bid. And the other one,
Missed the deadline.
they missed the deadline. They asked us on the last day to extend, but that isn't our policy, so we did not. And that was all that we got.
So we do know that DM Wills Associates, very creditable company, they'll do an excellent job and they're gonna look over those roads and tell us what we need. So despite the fact that we also have other people always telling us what we need. So now we'll have a road study. So we need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Kirk and Councillor Foot.
Wasn't the staff's idea to retender this, or you changed your mind?
Looking at how we can't get anybody to tender on it, it may be better to just take it from reserve and take what we've got, because we're in a time constraint as well, so we're trying to get things ready for the asset management plan.
And that was the other thing, they thought by re-tendering it, we'd lose 2 more, possibly this group as well, because they need to get going.
Well, and plus we put out the amount that they bid, so that kind of gets into a gray area for us as well.
Okay, so it's number R 2023-134, moved by Councillor Kirk, seconded by Councillor Foot, that we award RFP Nipissing Public Works 1023 Road Needs Study to DM Wills Associates Limited. Tendered amount $52,533.70, including applicable taxes, that we authorize use of the working capital reserve for the payment of this project. All in favor? Good. Okay, now the newest newsletter is in front of you.
There were 2 date changes.
There were date changes, and from the original, we took off some fire departments, very important fire department stuff. But we thought these town hall meetings on June 28th and July 4th. I know the last time when we had the all candidates night and any other decisions, council meetings, we've always heard, nobody told us. So it's in with every tax bill and when, where and everything. So I can't say that we haven't told them, and I'm sure they're on the web.
They will be on the website. They'll be also put on Facebook and posted at all of our locations like we normally do. Tax bills have been printed as of today and everything will be going out tomorrow. Once the newsletter is approved, we can print that tomorrow. So we have a plan to have everything in the mail by Friday.
This goes out to the non-residents as well.
No. That tax bills only go to those who are paying the taxes. So if they're tenants or visitors, we'll be capturing them with our website and our social media and the posters.
Okay.
But it goes till the summer.
Oh, absolutely. Anybody with
Summer.
property.
Yeah, that's, yeah,
Person's gonna get
all
it.
right.
They're gonna get their tax bill. So this is the one that's not due till the end of September. I don't wanna
It's gonna be early.
scare anybody that, before that. So if you look over the newsletter, we think we've gone over it. They do over tax payment options and requesting a change of address, which has been a sore point. Canada Day celebrations, Heritage Day, Fall Fest. The Recreation Committee is at the top. We know the speed limit is maximum 60 kilometers. The speed limits are all on posted roads. Nipissing Township is community safety zone at the school. And there's the town hall meetings at the bottom of the first page. And they will be, well, we're gonna go over later on when we talk about the strat plan.
Oh, yes.
So just the format, and we'll have one more meeting before that.
You will.
So just so everybody knows what the format is, because we're gonna have a moderator, just so it's not, hey, buddy, so it'll go through a moderator,
It'll just help keep the meeting format, make sure everyone is heard in a fair.
I know I'm not allowed to speak, but I can hardly hear you. Can I move a little closer?
Sure, you can move as close as you would like.
That's supposed to be so.
I'll try to speak up.
Oh,
too.
no, it's just I have bad hearing.
Okay.
And I was trying to hear and I got caution, just a little closer, but sorry.
Not a problem. So I need a mover and a seconder to approve the newsletter. Okay, Councilor Yim and Councilor Butler. And that'll be out this week,
It'll be out by Friday.
okay? I know you bought stamps, so it's number R 2023-135. It's moved by Councilor Yim, seconded by Councilor Butler, that we approve the 2023 summer newsletter as presented. All in favor? Carried.
The two letters are actually for these days right now.
I think I did get both of them as well. So we have committee vacancies on the Nipissing Township Museum Board. And as it says on the agenda, accept resignation from the museum board. And I'll just read it before we have a mover and seconder, that we accept the resignation of Liz Moore and Brenda Lennon from the Nipissing Township Museum Board. And we thank both longstanding members for the dedication and hard work during their tenure with the board. So I need a mover and a seconder, Councilor Butler and Councilor Foote. So it's number R 2023-136, moved by Councilor Butler, seconded by Councilor Foote, and I'll read it again, that we accept the resignation of Liz Moore and Brenda Lennon from the Nipissing Township Museum Board, and that we thank both longstanding members for their dedication and hard work during their tenure with the board. All in favor? Carried. Okay, regretfully, we'll move on to correspondence. And we're doing that because we want to look at the draft plan. I have it here, I believe. The first one were minutes from Golden Sunshine, which again, we all know it as the Pines Board. So Golden Sunshine Municipal Nonprofit Housing Corporation. And this was April 18th and May 17th. We've already had a report on both of those, so it's been done ahead of time. And number two, a request to attend a photo voice exhibition and documentary from the North Bay Indigenous Hub. Now, this is an Indigenous exhibition and documentary. It's Thursday, June 15th, and it's open to anyone. I'll be at soccer, but we all got information. If anybody wants to attend, I don't believe we have to. You don't have to say you're attending or anything, but it is open to everyone. And like I said, I won't be there, but if anybody would like to go, you're certainly welcome. And you're also welcome to come to soccer as well, because we always seem to need somebody and always hope that there's not a fire, because a whole bunch of firemen are working at soccer. So it would throw it into crazy. Next, number three, a letter from the North Bay Regional Health Center Foundation thanking the township for the continued support. So we're in year 17 of our 20-year commitment for the new health center, which is now evidently 17 years old. And we put in 10,000 a year, and we're at year 17. So when at the end of our term, we'll have paid off the hospital or our portion of it. The next is minutes of the Wassana District Union Public Library Board meetings held April 24th and May 15th. And I have down here library information, which Steve has already talked about. So we've had that in advance. So that's just, I guess, the written version. Next, we go to a letter from the County of Leonard regarding support for Bill C 321. This is an info item supporting the importance of the safety and well-being of first responders. This bill is already in front of the provincial government, and it seems like it will pass. So everything seems to be done already, but they were supporting it. And by the time we would support it, it should already be through Parliament, unless it's missed on the recess, the summer recess.
Didn't we just cross our paths earlier in the year? Was it this one?
I don't think it was this one. We did, it was the police one. And this is for ambulance, basically, so. But it's supported and it's supposed to go through. Now, the next one is a resolution from the city of Pickering regarding the use of long-term care funding to support community care services. This is already being done, okay? To some extent here already, but I don't think what they're looking at is more home care. And they're looking at not as much money going into long-term care homes and more into home care, keeping the people at home. And the problem here is it doesn't work in Northern Ontario. And why it doesn't work is because the long-term care or the home care workers aren't paid for their mileage. So if you're up here and you do one in Port and one in Restoule and one in Callander, that might be your whole day. So you get paid for 3 calls. Where in Toronto, you go into one seniors building and do 200 people in one day. So right now, it's not a viable alternative here. We still need long-term care homes because they just can't get paid, and you cannot hire people to do it. It's really, really difficult to find somebody. Yes.
I could probably add to that because I'm going through just recently went through that whole process.
Right.
And for somebody even living in Callander, take my father, for instance, he lived in Callander, get home care for him, what the home care nurse would put out and what her board would put out to get assistance for him, they couldn't get anybody to do the assistance. They have a list of community care contractors, if you will,
Yep.
to do this, and they couldn't get anybody. So what happens is that senior over time winds up on the crisis list. Then they have to find something for them, and that's the long-term care home.
Right.
So this here, I think, is moot for our area because it's just,
I agree.
you know, seeing the way it happens, and that's not the first. I've seen it before, and like I've been through 3 circumstances of that so far, and it's the same process and the same outcome. So
Yeah, you
it
cannot,
won't work.
you can't get home care workers. This, and again, I mean, and even if you have somebody, they can't make a living doing, not up here, But again, this might work in Pickering, but it's not gonna work in Northern Ontario. We go to number 7, resolution from Northumberland County regarding municipal oath of office. Again, this says that when you took your oath of office, or when you do again in 4 years, affirmation and recognition of treaty rights, and that's already gone to the government, and they'll determine whether we do it or not after the next election. And the last one, number 8, resolution from the city of Quinte West regarding rental evictions support request. And again, this is also going to AMO. And they're giving their support to Bill 97. And again, it's already in front of Parliament to stop rent evictions information until the passing of the bill. So right now it's information for us, and rent evictions are where people say, I'm gonna renovate your apartment, you have to move out, and then you don't get back in. They've renovated, the price is 10 times higher, and you're gone. So again, this is Bill 97, and we'll see where it goes. And other than that, that was our correspondence. So not a lot to support unless the government turns it down, and then we're gonna have to come at it in a different way. So correspondence, so we need a mover and a seconder to accept it. Okay, Councillor Butler and Councillor Kirk. Tricky. So it's resolution number R 2023-137, moved by Councillor Butler, seconded by Councillor Kirky, that we accept the correspondence as presented. All in favor? Carried. Next, we go to accounts. Everybody has seen the accounts, but if you have any questions that you haven't asked already, this would be the time, because the big accounts book is right there. So questions, Councillor Yem?
Calcium tanker costs 16,000 for
It was
one
2
load,
invoices, so.
so that's 4 loads, 32,000.
Yes, we
Okay.
had 4 loads of calcium on.
Okay, I just saw 2 loads, I thought,
invoices.
wow, isn't that?
Sorry, I put the
Yeah,
wrong word.
Okay, no, that's good. And moving our compactors, 1,527 for one move?
I didn't see that. I haven't got an invoice for
Okay.
that compactor yet. From Griffiths?
Oh, no, not Griffiths. No, that's the final of the moving for Canmore. One,
Oh, I brought the dozer in to clean up the rest of that shred pile and clean up the rest of Wolf Lake. So that was the machine and floating.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
And then Griffiths are gonna move the other one?
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't know, the other thing to point out, I think, was what our budgeted, the compactor came in when they brought it. It was under budget.
Yeah, we I negotiated a little bit cheaper than the original asking price, and then they floated it up here for that price.
So it was better than expected.
Good.
So, the statements of accounts. I need a mover and a seconder, Counselor Yam, and okay, Counselor Butler. You were on the last one. I thought you were trying to dodge it. Never, thank you. So it's number R 2023-138, moved by Counselor Yam, seconded by Counselor Butler, that the statement of accounts dated May 23rd and 26th, June 1st and 2nd, 2023, totaling $281,955.41 be approved. All in favor? Thank you. Carried. So let's see. Okay, all the moving items, I'll put my agenda someplace else.
Oh,
I think we're at working discussion updates for this. So that's what we're gonna work on now. And this is so that we have a plan, we can go to, these will be things that I know we've heard of before. Constituents have suggested, all 5 of us have worked on a number of these. They'll be going into the strat plan. Then we open it up to public meetings where I'm sure they're going to have some other things that they're gonna want in our strategic plan that we may or may not have overlooked. So that's why we have these public meetings. And after the 2 public meetings, then we'll look at the strategic plan again. And that's what we want to do in the next 4 years of this council term. So I guess I'll turn it over to you. Yes, I'll turn it over to you and
so we have 2 town hall sessions planned. And the dates.
here,
Forget the dates. Thanks.
that's the old one.
So Wednesday, June 28th will be in the Commanda Community Center from 6 to 8 p.m. And Tuesday, July the 4th will be here in the Nipissing Community Center from 6 to 8 p.m. We have a moderator, and the sessions will be where the mayor will introduce our topic. We have a PowerPoint presentation of the topics that we have in our current strategic plan and anything that council would like to add this evening. And then we will turn it over to the moderator and they will help the public to bring forward their questions and concerns or ideas. Okay,
And we'll go over the ones that we have already.
absolutely. That's what's in for the document tonight.
Yeah, so it'll go up on PowerPoint. Hopefully they'll patiently watch and go through.
We'll keep
10.
it short. I think there's 4 different categories that are in our strategic plan right now. So if council wants to add anything or change anything tonight, then we can work on putting that into the strategic plan going forward.
And some of the things aren't in. I
So-
know because I put them in.
The mission statement was the first one that we asked for comment on, if there were any changes that were wanted in the mission statement. So,
The only thing that I want to point out in all of these, it says efficient government and planning so that all residents benefit. When you look at that, sometimes some resident is not going to benefit simply because they'll say it doesn't work for them, you know, you didn't pave in front of my driveway, that kind of thing. So it's a hypothetical, all residents, you know, and it's the old, I don't think we can please everyone. We do our very best. And so when it says all residents and the next one, all citizens, all, you know, we just do the best job we can, you know. Steve?
Could we put a caveat in there that would say, to the best of our ability, knowing that we can't satisfy the needs of everyone?
Like, I wonder about that, you
I can
know,
look at wording for
it-
sure.
it's the old, you know, the song, you can't please everyone, but you gotta please yourself, you know, doesn't work. We're still trying to please the vast majority,
Mhm.
but sometimes, and I mean, we all know it, you know. Can't please everybody,
Yeah, we know it better than most.
yeah, but we try. I mean, and you try the best you can with the money that you have allotted, you know? And so it's just, you know,
Making notes.
okay, just the
Perfect.
that's a question that I have.
Well, I just wonder if we can do something along keeping, you can, the wording can be something along keeping all residents' needs keeping all residents' needs top of mind. So we're saying, yeah, we can't keep everybody happy, but we can keep your needs top of mind, keeping needs, those needs in our
So
thoughts.
efficient government and planning so that all residents benefit.
But I would say keeping all residents' needs
Yeah.
top of mind or
Yeah.
whatever that is. And then that takes out that,
Mhm. Well, that sort of fall into the wording that I was kind of after anyway.
yeah.
Yeah, I can work on that and bring back another draft at the next meeting for sure.
And the vision statement
Same.
is, no, it just says the needs of its citizens. It doesn't say all its citizens and the opportunities provided by its natural resources. So, you know, as soon as we say all or everyone, we've been burned over this before. You
Yeah.
know, you're not taking care of me, you know. But we are taking care of 1,778 people, but that's 79. Sometimes it's impossible, you know, but we try. So the town are, you know,
So the value statements are next. So the values, culture and excellent customer service, history and heritage, quality services for all citizens, open and transparent governance, honesty and integrity, inclusion and diversity in all municipal activities, fairness and equality, commitment to a team of creative problem solvers, accountability to all citizens, and respect for the natural environment. Are we okay with those?
I'm
Any
okay with
suggestions
those.
on those?
Yeah, that's-
All right. So I think the next page that I had asked for input was under economic development. So this is the first topic that we would have listed. And then currently in the strategic plan, we have it listed as there are 4 topics: internet and cell coverage, natural heritage features, home occupations and home industries, and tourism. So in some of the notes of the working document, there were some updates. So we do have improved internet coming with Bell bringing in the fiber. Other than that, Starlink. So I had suggested a few objective updates. So to continue to advocate the need for improved cell phone coverage in all areas, because we're still lacking in several areas in that. Continue to work collaboratively with internet and cell phone service providers to share land for towers, access to services required to increase or improve their services, and bring the requirements of residents to the service providers, increasing their awareness of the underserviced areas. And then continue to collaborate through Blue Sky with other area municipalities to seek broadband service improvements and options, because I don't think that'll ever stop.
well, I was gonna say, when we look at, you know, and I know we had this the other meeting too, about how to improve opportunities for small business. As a group here, we have no development charges. What else can the township do? Like that's a question, because I don't know how we can make it better for small business. Like, I know cell phone and internet for sure. But how else can we improve things?
Well, I was gonna say, well, the only small business person here,
Yeah, I know, but I didn't.
but I'm thinking probably when we have the public meetings, that question will be answered. That
Okay,
might be a hot item on that.
Hopefully.
You know, they can bring stuff forward. It might be something we can do to help with that.
right.
You're right, but I think as a small business owner, I don't think the township doesn't. It doesn't not help. It doesn't, like, I don't have a complaint.
Okay,
Okay, so if I put it that way. But I think when I go there, I think to include them more, to include the community more. Because I think we can use our small businesses, whatever it is, to help and keep more awareness and keep the conversation going, right? So like whatever it is. So if we're here in Nipissing and you've got the yard sale going out in Commanda, and it's that communication piece, because in the past, there's been pieces missed, right? Like where nobody's asked, the flyers aren't brought down, or nobody's asked, or nobody said, hey, will you give? And it's like, because there's an assumption made. They won't give, so let's not bother.
Mhm.
That's the assumption that's been made in the past.
but the other assumption that goes with it is we flog that horse so often. I know, and I think that's where you try to find a balance, because I'm sure everything that happens out here, they're gonna go to South Shore Store Foods, They don't? No, you just open the door.
They
Okay,
don't, not always.
okay,
And there's been many times where you all of a sudden would get 3/4 away into something. I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, well, we're doing this. And I'm like, so how can we help? Because as a small business, you want to help.
Mhm.
Like you want to give back and you want to help. It's the whole point, right? Of being in, Christine, I mean, you can help, right? It's that whole point of being in business. There's no sense being a small business owner in a community if you're not wanting or willing or have the desire.
The dividend payback over time is huge.
It's huge, yeah. So I think the communication piece has to be there that says, hey, and any small business would just like the opportunity to say no. Give me the opportunity to say no. Not that it ever, let's say no. And I think that's the piece. Like for me, when I put that in there, that's the piece for me. It's that open up the door and let us give back. Because we are where we are as small businesses because of the community and no other reason.
okay, good,
Does that help?
yes,
All these notes help, because then we can reword some of the items in here to include those ideas that we bring forward at the meetings. So that's perfect.
Yeah.
I think also be conscious of not hindering small business.
Mhm.
Like I know a fairly large community just northwest that they don't help small business. They put stuff in place that hinders.
and I think we've been careful
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
avoid that. I think
Well,
we've tried.
One of the things is the development, lack of
Right.
development fees, right off the hop, you're doing, we're on the same page as small business there.
It's been huge. The change has been huge over like us being in the community for 11 years. It's gone from here to here. Like the change is incredible. So, and that's commitment to the council and what's happened, right? So the doors have opened. We just can open them a little more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So tourism, there are some updates to the statistics that we have in there.
right,
So I did put that one in to renew, and we do have those new statistics. And just see if we covered everything. So another one that Councillor Foot had put in your what you wanted to see was to continue for the recreation part of things, the commitment to it, continue to bring the program to life with a focus on keeping the youth within the community connected and busy, enabling relationships and fostering a community atmosphere. Is there anything else that you want us to add?
No,
That would
I
build
think,
on that.
I think we kind of made some steps towards that, right? And opening up what we're offering for the kids, that kind of thing, right? So I think we've made steps towards it, I believe. You know, older programs for older kids, teen dances, that piece, and then allowing them to come back in and volunteer, I think is huge.
So get back to the volunteer, that's a big one that repeats throughout. So Councillor Butler and Councillor Yam both put in their comments additional support and recognition for local small businesses. And ratepayers would like to see the municipality assist with the promotion of small businesses operating within our township. Is there anything specific that you would?
I suppose we already have it on the website, the different.
Yeah, we have our business listing and there's no charge for that. Any business within the Township of Nipissing can forward us their information and we'll include it on that listing. So, okay. So if there's anything after the meeting too, you can email that to me so I can include it, because sometimes on the spot is a little much. So in the current strategic plan, the next one is municipal services and communications. So we have waste diversion, transportation, infrastructure, property standards with a common sense approach and rural flavor, and housing. So there's significant changes to waste diversion, and these town hall meetings will also have a secondary part regarding the proposed changes that we want to make to the landfills and educating our residents on where we stand as far as the landfills are. So that piece will be covered.
So that's how many years, that part?
Yes. And any waste reduction strategies that we may want to introduce or discuss.
So at this, do we point out that we might be going to bag limits?
That's something that should be
I
looked at.
think we should.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think it's gonna be a problem.
I don't think so
At all.
either. So that's what we were going to put in our report is
Yeah.
looking at bag limits and making those bag limits appropriate to the different properties. Because a resort will have a different requirement than a home, obviously. So there's certain things that we have to look at. So it would either be a punch card system or a bag limit so that we can keep track. So we do have some ideas for that.
yeah, because the clear bag thing went not too bad. When we went to clear bag.
Yeah,
And we had a whole year of education before we moved into that. So if we were to move on it soon, then we could have, you know, before the start of the next year is what we'd be looking at. And because our tax bills are due March 31st, I would suggest any program that we're going to start, we would start on April the 1st, because most people get all that information in their interim tax bill. And some don't open it until closer to the due date. So that would allow us to provide
we
that
start
education.
educating them on it now, and
Yeah.
the biggest thing with clear bags was people didn't want to pay 4 times the amount for a clear bag, and so we tell them they're the exact same price. Well, nobody has them. Well, everybody had it. It's just you had to buy clear.
Yeah.
Not green.
You had to look for clear.
Mhm.
Yeah,
We did a
to
whole
the
lot
right
of
of the green.
Yeah,
of research, and we got names of
Yeah.
different stores in the area, and it was just a matter of letting those stores in our area know that we were moving to a clear bag program, and then they would supply them.
But we still had calls.
Oh, yes.
Tom's sitting there smiling because, you know, maybe you should buy my garbage bags. So
Yeah.
do you want to buy my old black bags? You know,
Yeah,
you know, that kind of thing. Yeah.
That's the garbage dumped on his front lawn.
Mhm.
Yeah. But this way, if we provide a long enough education, then they can have that chance to use up those black bags and different things too, so.
And ask questions, like let them get the questions out there long before.
And that's the point of bringing this up at the town hall meeting, so that if we bring these out in point form of what we're thinking of looking at, let's get the feedback from the public before we make those policies and procedures that we may have to walk back if they're not accepted, right? So just, an education tool.
in the property standards, there's gonna be people here that are gonna say, we want property standards, clean yard, everything like that. And I mean, we've looked at it, we'll look at it again, I'm sure, but it's really, really difficult, just like we were talking about noise bylaws. When you go and start cutting your logs, and I cut my logs, if we had a noise bylaw, they'd shut you down in a minute,
Yeah.
But we're in a rural area and people cut wood,
Is there a provincial statute on noise?
Not really, no.
Not really.
No.
The Ontario Provincial Police looks at it as, I believe, an enjoyment of your property and what you can expect. That's usually, we turn over all noise complaints to the OPP.
and you mentioned that on Sunday, I mean, it's the same thing, like
Yeah,
whether you're,
well, I think most people in this room cut their own wood,
yep,
I
Yeah.
cut mine.
Yeah, and shoot guns and when they're out bird hunting or
Yeah.
practice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Don't most noise bylaws have a certain time limit, like
Yeah.
after 11 o'clock at night?
yeah,
Yeah.
7 to 11.
And that's basically what the OPP follows as well. So that's why I believe previous discussions with previous councils has been, let's follow what the OPP is suggesting, because that is along the same line as what we'd be looking for in our municipality.
all the
That's
camp
where
owners have their own rules in their camps anyhow.
mhm.
And it's generally 10 o'clock that's
Yeah.
it, no fireworks, no more noise and.
Cause this, the 7 to 11, for whatever reason, I thought that was like a provincial statute, but I guess it's not.
It is with the OPP, right?
I'm not sure if it's a statute, it's just it's a guideline that they basically use for.
Yeah.
So with that comes the issue of short-term rentals. That's another big one in our community. We are working with neighboring municipalities. CAO group is actually working together to come up with a format that we could use across all the municipalities in our area. So it's an expected approach. So we are working on that. We're hoping to have a meeting on that in person in September.
Would that be like a Nipissing, Perry Sound, or just,
Our CAO group goes from Mattawa to Callender, us, Powassan, Chisholm, and everybody in between. So it's more just Nipissing, Perry Sound District, our area,
Yeah.
up north. So.
Because it's gonna be different than the Muskokas.
Yeah.
It's totally different up north because they look at you like, what are you even talking about, they love to have you, but, we're gonna have definitely some information on this and some kickback for sure, so.
Well, and the public will have some input on what they want to see, and we need to hear that so that we can work that into our bylaw as well.
well, we're already getting some public impact on it, so. Yeah,
Okay, so, are there legislation changes coming for the clean yard bylaw? Well,
Supposed to be. The province is apparently looking at putting something in place.
they've been
But
saying that
nothing's
for a
been-
while, but we haven't actually gotten anywhere yet, so. those
And
are-
if they put that in place, that'd take a lot off our plate. No, we'd have to enforce
Oh,
it,
yeah,
but we wouldn't have to make the rule.
no.
Yeah. Oh, no, it would put a lot on your plate. It'd take it off my plate.
Someone.
Yeah.
Careful. Okay, so I think that covered everything in that topic. So the next one was marketing, which we had discussed. So natural heritage features, historical destinations, communication and advertising. Now, in the current strategic plan, the Nipissing Township Museum is a large part of it. We're hoping to have a strategic plan for the Nipissing Township Museum itself that I would like to see appended to this as an appendix rather than being a part of it. So it still plays a large part, but it would have its own document to follow. And same with the Recreation Committee for our facilities for recreation. So that's something to consider. I don't think there was anything else on there. Is council still satisfied with the delivery of the quarterly newsletter?
For communications,
mhm.
Okay, and is there anything that we're missing? as far as communicating with the public. So we have our newsletters, we have our social media platform. We're using Facebook for recreation, the museum, fire department, township. We're using our website. I don't know of anything else.
I was just wondering if we could use those platforms to assist the small businesses in the area. I know whenever I see something across my feed from small businesses, not just here, but in our whole area, I always share them.
So we do have a social media policy in place where we help nonprofits, but not necessarily small businesses on our social media, because social media is free. So they can use them
Mhm.
for their own circulation. And I think that was how we went at that with the social media policy. And then it would be to make sure that we're being fair to everyone. So that just opens the door that there may be something that we're not.
So this is natural heritage features,
Mhm.
historical destination, communication, advertising. So I'm sure we'll have some feedback there.
But there may be something, but I'm
yes,
hoping to
we
have
will.
some information on that. So the last one is recreation and tourism. So we have trail system, which we finalized, we did the Path Off Way in the last council. We have fitness and health promotion, water access and volunteerism. So all of those pieces. Is there anything,
Is the JP Webster Trail being maintained or?
we don't maintain it? That was never part of the agreement when we set it up. So I'm not sure.
That was whenever North
That
was
was the
supposed to do it.
trails and somebody.
Yeah,
Well, that was, what's her name from,
Can't remember.
yeah,
the
she
name of it,
was
so I
on
don't
the
wanna say
radio
it.
not 2 weeks ago, talking about now you can get bikes from them and then ride trails. So you-
yeah, that was the organization that was doing the Trans-Canada Trail System.
Yeah,
I forget the name of it.
Remember either of us, I don't listen to anything. So.
I'd like to see us work hard on getting 50 kilometers speed limit or 60 through Nipissing, South River Road, over to Murray Cape's old
Yeah.
place, from Lake Nipissing Road down. I know the engineer who's in charge of corridor really well at the MTO. I'm
We
thinking-
had
oh,
submitted
okay.
resolutions for the Hamlet area of 522 and the Hamlet area of 654
Yeah.
to the MTO, and they did say that they would review them. That was
Yeah.
last summer. We haven't heard back, so we can certainly follow up with that.
Yeah,
We're the ones that got it changed from 80 to 70 in front of the museum.
That's a provincial highway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Now it's just the enforcement that's needed, because I watch from my window at the office too, and I think, I don't know if that's 70.
70's too quick, I think, through there.
Through there.
Yeah,
There's
if
more
I can, like,
pedestrians now than ever
wow,
before.
yeah. If you get the cars coming down the hill, 534 to go to Boisson, you wanna come out or turn in your store,
Yeah,
I have
you don't
visions.
have a long time.
No.
I have a vision of a camper pulling out of the store one of these times, and somebody's gonna come flying around that corner.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be bad.
Did they do the traffic count?
I don't know. They said they would, but
Okay.
they didn't follow up with us. So what I can do is I can follow up with those
Okay.
2 letters
Yeah,
and see where we are with that. Yep.
and I know we've been looking at that. Tom, remember 12 years ago that, we had asked for 50, especially, well, in the hamlet, in
yeah.
Nipissing itself.
Yeah.
And somebody even went to the MTO and got thrown out. But there was none of the council.
Yeah.
But so it's been out there, and you're right, we certainly need that,
yeah,
from all the way through, and community
Everywhere.
as well.
Everywhere, because speeding is an identified issue in all municipalities, municipal roads, public, provincial highways everywhere. And they're having a problem with, there's just not enough resources for enforcement, and that's an issue. And so we have to look at ways.
But if we can get it down to reasonable, and then if they're, you know what I mean, like, you know, it says 80, they're doing 90 or more.
Yeah,
If we can get it down to 60 and they're doing 70,
Exactly.
we have a fighting chance,
Yeah,
But,
right?
and that's why I think we go for 50.
50, yeah,
For sure.
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, that's good.
because if they keep it, if they stay within the 16-kilometer limit over to keep their points, then they're under 70.
yeah,
It's better than the 80 to 90 that's happening right now.
yeah.
There'll
it's
always
too
be a few
fast.
that are gonna go. Last night
Yeah,
at my house on 654, 2 cars were racing
yeah,
and they scared me. So it happens,
Yeah.
but if we can get the majority down.
Well, working at the museum on the weekend, watching bikes go by.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yes,
So-
yeah,
Okay,
that was racing
I mean, that's the other thing
in the
though.
village.
We ask for enforcement, you know,
yeah,
and
there is, we don't have enough people to,
so when we did ask for enforcement the last time, they did say that they're not receiving complaints from our residents, so they can't respond. So we did put in another newsletter to call them. So we put that again in this newsletter, the number that they want them to call. Unless you suspect it's an impaired driver or a danger, then you call 911. But they do want direct contact with the residents, so.
because basically they don't believe us.
But we also have the 2 radar signs.
Yeah, I was gonna say, with the radar signs now, we have, when we get some data, we will be able to target, okay, the most speeding is between this time and this time, and narrow the window right down
Yeah,
for them to come out and sit and not waste their time.
and it's going to show the speeds.
Right, yeah, that's what I mean, it'll show like the big speeding times,
Does
It's
that,
not a camera, it's not capturing who's doing it, it's just capturing that
the
it's happening.
times, yeah, like it'll show like, say, 8 to 10 o'clock in the morning, people are traveling.
does that store traffic counts?
Yep,
Okay, I was right, Dave.
yeah,
So we're going to use that in the
Yeah.
asset management plan. Once we
Yes.
get the road need study, then we can update our own in-house.
and then we
So-
can start moving them around and capturing how much traffic is on each road.
Yeah. Good seasonal adjustments and all that.
And the roads need study will be, I mean, again, it takes it off our plate and somebody else says, this is what you need, you know? So I think it's really important.
Okay. So I think that's everything that we had there. And we had discussed the items that didn't go from goals, but we do have some recommendations to move some things around for recreation. So we'll come up with a draft plan to bring forward at the next council meeting that we'll be bringing forward to the town hall meetings for council's approval. Okay? And again, if there's any other comments or ideas that you have, please share them and we'll work them in.
Be shy. So we have one more council meeting and then we'll have the townhouse meetings, so get your money's worth. Okay, so next,
She did want to say something.
did you want to say something?
I know I'm not allowed to, so, but it was just a question. I'm having hydro brought in to my property in Chapman's Landing, and they asked me what my address was. I don't have a 911 number. Is that possible to get one?
Come and see us.
Because, I couldn't answer.
You come and see us at the office and we'll take care of that for you, okay?
And I will say, I think this was really informative, and I truly believe that this township is doing an excellent job, and the people who work for it, it was great.
Thank you.
Yeah. so-
Okay, if you'd like to come to the town hall meeting, you're certainly welcome.
I can sure use a padded chair.
Yeah, you gotta get here early to get those. But thank you for those comments. We
No, it's-
appreciate it.
And I mean that sincerely.
And if you come to the office, I'll certainly look
We'll
at a
have-
number. In the meantime, we'll move on with our confirming bylaw. Move her into secondary. Okay, I'm looking that way to Counselor Butler, Counselor Kirky, So it's number R 2023-139, moved by Councillor Butler, seconded by Councillor Kirky, that we pass bylaw number 2023-33, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at its meeting held on June 6, 2023, read the first, second, and third time, and passed this 6th day of June 2023. All in favor? Carried. And the adjournment, Councillor Yam and Councillor Kirky. I always get that one at the rec committee, don't I?
You do, pretty quick.
I'm pretty darn quick at that. It's
He
number
wants
R
it.
2023-140, moved by Councillor Yam, seconded by Councillor Kirky. Meeting be adjourned at 7:35.
Yep.
7:35 PM. The next regular meeting to be held June 20th, 2023. All in favor? Carried. And I thank you all for being